Candidates, let's turn to the economy. It's no secret Rhode Island's economy has lagged for a long time, especially compared with Massachusetts. CNBC ranks the state 45th out of 50 for business friendliness. The GDP shrank 0.6% during the first quarter of this year, and only 89% of the jobs lost during the pandemic have been regained 2 years later. So I want to ask each of you a simple question. Ms. Folks, I'll start with you. What would you identify as the single biggest thing holding back Rhode Island's economy today?
So it's hard to identify one, and you're right, all those numbers are really heartbreaking, because it's very important we have a thriving economy so our children and grandchildren can have great futures here. I would point to small businesses. You know, we have a state where we're overwhelmed with bureaucracy and red tape. I talk to small business leaders every day who say, eliminate it and let us grow. And I'll give you one example. There's a guy I met who has 3 restaurants, 2 in Pawtucket and 1 in Worcester. And he said to me, Helena, when I opened my second restaurant in Pawtucket, I had to go to 13 different websites and locations to get all the paperwork and permits to open my restaurant. When I went to Worcester, I had one-stop shop concierge service. And I think to myself, when I hear stories like that, we sometimes overcomplicate what needs to happen. We can make things work in Rhode Island, get big things done, and liberate small business owners so that they can hire more people and really build a thriving economy.
All right, Ms. Folks says small business. Ms. Gorbea, same question. What is the single biggest thing you would identify holding back the state's economy?
It's the fact that we don't have an economy that's more equitable and just, and that's focusing on the businesses that are here now. Look, we have like the most amazing state in that we have sectors like marine, renewable energy, hospitality and tourism, manufacturing. We have so many businesses and business types that we should be investing in to grow into regional, national, international companies. But instead, we have this shiny object kind of economic development where we're looking for that one big fix. It's not. It's about fixing the housing crisis. It's about education, and it's about addressing climate change while investing in our Rhode Island-based
But would you
businesses.
pick among those, you know, you have to make priorities as governor. Would you pick among those as the biggest challenge?
I would. Right now, the biggest challenge facing our economy is housing. And I'm going to be the housing governor. Because right now, people can't afford to live here. And that's really strangling so many other things. Housing is foundational to education. A kid that moves twice in a school year is not able to recover. And it's also like, housing is also foundational to people's health. How healthy, where you live, definitely affects your health. And finally, it affects climate change in that how we heat and cool our homes is what's affecting our climate. And I am going to be the governor that fixes this. We can, by the way, grow a great home building economy in our state doing this work. And I'm going to make us a regional leader.
All right, and Mr. Brown, same question. What do you see when you look out around the economy as the biggest hurdle holding the state back?
That people don't have enough money to get by. And the reason is that the costs of the basic things people need, like housing and health care, have gone up literally hundreds of %, while people's wages have stayed essentially the same. And that means it just doesn't add up for lots and lots of Rhode Islanders. They just can't get by. They can't make a life here for themselves or for their children. So as governor, we'll come at it from both sides. I'll raise the minimum wage to $19 an hour to put more money in people's pockets. And we'll lower the cost of things like housing and health care by building tens of thousands of truly affordable homes, capping statewide annual rent increases at 4%, and enacting a Medicare for all style healthcare system that takes the profit making out of it. The root of the problem is that the people in power are not up there working for everyday people. They're working for large corporations and the very rich. Just recently, Governor McKee gave $60 million.
We're going to talk about the soccer stadium, so hold off on that for a moment, please. Hold off for me, Mr. Brown.
I'm not going to talk about Tidewater.
Okay. What are you going to talk about?
Well, what I'm going to say is
Briefly.
that it doesn't have to be that way. These are policy decisions. We can make different decisions. With different leadership, we can end the corporate giveaways, and we can ensure that everyone can afford to get by and give their kids
Let me
a good
just ask
life
you
here.
briefly before I go to Mr. McKee. You mentioned a $19 minimum wage. I know there'll be some people watching at home, maybe they run a small business and they worried that their balance sheet wouldn't be able to handle that. What do you say to someone, which is not to say people don't deserve $19, but they worry about being able to afford that?
I think one of the best things we can do to support small businesses here is to raise the minimum wage to $19 an hour. The situation we have now is that because people's costs are so high and their wages have stayed the same, at the end of the month, once people have paid their mortgage or their rent, the utility bill, their health care bill, their grocery bill, their child care bill, they don't have any money left to go to the corner store, their local small business, and buy something. Raising wages is one of the good investments we can make in our small business economy.
Mr. McKee, same question. What do you see as the number one thing that holds back Rhode Island economically?
The number one thing, and we're working on it, is said JOBS, jobs. That's the main thing in raising people's incomes. Matt and I actually agree on raising the incomes. We don't agree how to do it. We do it. The fact of the matter is that we have the lowest unemployment rate the state has ever had in its history, and there's still good paying jobs available. Fidelity, we're investing in the fisheries down in Gallery. Quonset for offshore wind in East Providence. Superman building, we're going to put people to work. The convention center, the Dunk, or new AMP, I guess that's what it's going to be. Electric Boat is still hiring. Tidewater is going to be constructing good-paying jobs. Education, $300 million for schools, almost $200 million for Rhode Island College, CCRI, and URI. These are all good-paying jobs. And the budget that we were able to pass with the General Assembly and the budget that I submitted, $250 million for housing, and as well a small business friendly budget article in the budget that I got 6 to 8 of those things passed, and we're going to do it again next year.
So are you saying the single biggest thing holding back the state economically is a lack of jobs or a lack of workers to take the jobs?
No, right now the jobs is the path towards a good economy. We no longer have to be a state first in and last out of economic downturns. Today, we lead the Northeast on an economic recovery with Moody's, 30 indexes. We're number 2 in the country. We no longer need to be the first and last out of these economic downturns. The budget that has been passed, that I've signed, that I've submitted, has 3 to 5 years of economic growth in that budget. And the best defense against a economic downturn is JOBS. And the jobs are there right now, and we're going to make sure that we train them up, $30 million for job training. And we have set the plan. It's in motion. We have momentum like the state has never seen before, and we're going to take advantage of it.
We're going to have to move on soon, so I saw Ms. Folk's hand first, and we'll get you in, Ms. Gorbea.
Yeah, I'm honestly not following what he's talking about in terms of this, but I will just say that it's really important that we have a healthy climate where people feel that they can grow their businesses. And I think under Governor's leadership, there's a cloud over this state. Reputational issues are really hurting us. We were one of a handful of states that taxed the PPP loans. We also have Secretary Gorbea, who's proposed raising taxes on small businesses by another %. And so these two issues send a very loud signal to businesses that are here and out of state that this is not a place that's open for business. So we need to change the climate, improve it for businesses so they can hire more people and help all of us.
All right, I promised Ms. Gorbea time before we go on.
I was going to agree, I was going to amend my statement before that perhaps the one thing holding our economy back is our current leadership and Governor McKee.